Okay, so welcome to our first virtual York St John Study Abroad Global Opportunities Fair. So this is a session for InHolland University of Applied Sciences. So I'll talk through a little bit about the university, about its location, and then invite any questions at the end. So just to let you know a little bit about it, it's in Rotterdam in the Netherlands. It's got campuses in 8 different cities, but you would be based at the Rotterdam one. It's got 37,000 students, so it's a lot bigger than York St John, and it was established in 2002, so it's quite a new university as well. So location-wise, it's just under a 4-hour train ride from London, or just over an hour if you fly. That map's a bit wonky, sorry about that, I'm not sure why. There's also the ferry from Hull as well, that goes through to Rotterdam. It's got great travel links all across Europe. It's only an hour to Amsterdam, so you're in a really good location there if you want to explore either other places in the Netherlands or further afield in Europe too. So just to let you know quite a lot about Rotterdam, so it's got a lot of students, a lot of tourists. It's quite a popular location. It's the busiest seaport in Europe and the busiest just behind China and Singapore, so it's a very popular place, very busy place. It's got a really famous skyline, as you've seen on the pictures so far. It's a very kind of metropolitan and modern. It's home to a lot of different global firms. So you've got Philips, Shell, Heineken, KPMG and Unilever. It's got lots of different standout architecture, so buildings that are quite famous and well known. There's art everywhere. I don't know if you've ever been before, but it's got lots of outdoor sculptures, street art, that kind of thing. It's got a famous indoor market with over 100 stalls, restaurants with cooking classes. You can really enjoy kind of the Dutch way of life. So you've got the cheese market, cycling, nightlife. All this is obviously in a normal situation without COVID, but hopefully, by next year we'll be looking a little bit more like it will be on a typical year. You've got different cycle routes, so you can do the Gouda cycle route. You've got green areas of Holland as well, so the UNESCO World Heritage Site with the historic windmills. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce that. I'm not sure how you do. And it's a major kind of logistical and economic centre, very industrialised, and it's known as the gateway to Europe. So there's certainly lots going on in Rotterdam. And this is just some pictures to give you an idea, so you can see like those really iconic buildings and the architecture that are in the city, as well as sort of the more oldie, wealthy looking places as well. So in terms of when you can go, anyone from the York Business School, apart from accounting and finance, you can go either in the first semester of your second year, the second semester of your second year, or a full year. But just to make you aware, if you are doing a placements degree, then you wouldn't be able to go in semester 2 or for a full year, because it just means that because of your placement in third year, you're out for too long a time. So it would just be semester 1 if you're doing a placement. So why in Holland? Well, there's students from 100 different countries and 190 different partner universities, so it's very much an international experience that you'll get. You can learn something new, like the Dutch language, culture. Now, you don't have to know Dutch to go, you will be taught in English, but obviously it's an added bonus if you want to know a little bit more and really get involved in the culture there. And there's a real kind of focus on internationalisation and developing that and cross-cultural links too. They're really kind of passionate about broadening students' international outlook, and they have a really personal and accessible approach to learning. Now, they equip you with skills for later in life, as any study abroad experience will do, giving you confidence, flexibility, resilience. These are all things that wherever you went, you would get that, and they're very good employability skills to have. And they really kind of nurture entrepreneurship, which you can probably expect from a city like that. They've also got very high levels of student satisfaction, as you can see on the right there too. So there's the Erasmus Student Network. So Erasmus, I'll talk a little bit more about this further on, but that's the scheme really. Erasmus Plus is what enables you to go to Europe at the moment, and 21-22 is the last year you can do that. And this scheme in particular runs a lot of different activities. So they can pick you up from the airport. So they'll give you an arrival day or a couple of days to choose from, and then they'll collect you. They have like international themed dinners and parties, barbecues, there's football events. You can visit different places, different cities, famous landmarks you can go to. Have a museum night, a beach party, laser gaming. So there's all different things you can get involved with this network of other European students who will be in Rotterdam as well. And this is just some pictures of the university, so you can see it's really very modern. So housing wise, it's private student housing. We recommend you start the process quite early to get your housing. So when you know that you can go, start looking for your accommodation, and they'll give you websites to search for housing. So like this link here, and I can make this available to you as well. And there's more information on our website too. So as I mentioned, the Erasmus Plus scheme, that just gives you some more money to go abroad. So whilst you're abroad, you can still get your student loan as normal, but you'll also be entitled to €370 per month whilst you're abroad, and this is regardless of your household income. It's not means tested, so you'll definitely get that. And you get that as an 80% payment at the start and a 20% payment at the end. Now, if you're from a disadvantaged background, so your household income's a little bit lower, then you can get up to an additional €120 per month as well. And there's also an Erasmus Plus special needs grant. So if you have a disability or special needs, then again, you're eligible for that. So that just can open up more opportunities for you, basically, that perhaps you wouldn't have otherwise. And that is the end. So I will just come back to this and stop sharing my screen. There we go. Okay, so if anyone has any questions, please feel free to, if you want to raise your hand and then I'll come to you, or if you want to type them into the chat box and then I'll answer them as best as I can. If I don't know the answer, obviously I'll tell you that, and I'll pass on any questions to either our colleagues at InHolland, who unfortunately couldn't join us today, or to one of our ambassadors, so someone who's been before, a York St John student, because they'll know a little bit more about the student lifestyle there. I'll just give it a minute because I appreciate if people are typing, it takes a little while. Oh, sorry, Jack, go on.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, do you mind if I answer questions like this? Ask questions like this?
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
So, sweet. So the PowerPoint you were going through, is there any way to like access that just as like a quick reference? Because I know you filmed it in this, but is there somewhere I can like reference the PowerPoint as such?
Yeah, I'll put it in the chat box now, and then I won't forget, which is always a good thing. We will be making them available. I'm not sure where they're going to live at the moment. We need to find a place for them. Oh, it's on me, it's in use. Just 1 second. But yeah, we'll make it available, and also this recording too, just so you've got that, and obviously all the links as well.
Okay, awesome.
So I'm just sending that through to the chat now, so you've got the links there if you want to click on any of them or read a little bit more. Most of it is I've done that. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, but there is information on our website too, and we've also got the links to InHolland's website, and there's different links for accommodation, for like the module catalogue, so you can have a look at the kind of things that are offered, all different things like that. The main international page too.
Oh, sweet.
Okay.
Oh, I was going to, sorry, I just have another one.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm the bus.
That's fine.
So you said it, so you said, so is it for, sorry, I'm mumbling words here, trying to think of the question properly. So you said it's for like, is it 1 semester long in terms of like, you go for the first semester, then come back, or second, come back, or you do the whole year?
That's right. Yeah,
kind of,
so you can pick either, whatever your preference is really. So we'd probably recommend going in the first semester just because of, it's a bit complicated. We can get into it in a bit more detail if you want to apply, but with the second semester, there's a cut-off date of the end of May for the Erasmus funding. So there would be a potential, I'm not sure what the term dates are for InHolland, but there's potential for maybe 2-3 weeks where you wouldn't have that funding. Whereas obviously semester one, it's covered because we're well into that limit, that time limit. So yes, I'd recommend semester one, and that it tends to be more popular semester one anyway, actually. But it's entirely up to you. And obviously, if you want to go for the full year, that's fine too.
Fair enough. I know I'll keep asking questions.
No, that's fine. Go for it.
Obviously, the Erasmus is like an EU thing. Well, obviously, if Brexit was to go through by the end of the year, was that going to have an effect on it? Do you know?
It's not for 21-22 because we've already secured the funding for that, so it's kind of a separate thing. How it goes beyond that, we don't know, and I think that will be down to whether we leave with a deal or not. So it could well be that the academic year 21-22 is the last year that people can go, which obviously is fine for you because you will be the last year. So we're really hoping it gets extended, but yeah, that's a definite. We've got that money for that academic year, so regardless of Brexit, it's a definite thing. Does anybody else have any questions or anything else they'd like to add?
Hello? Sorry, I think I dropped out.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Sorry, no, I think I dropped out. Sorry.
Oh no, it's all right. I thought you'd gone quiet. That's fine. Did you hear? Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, you said so the funding was always secured, and that's what.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
don't worry. Yeah. Also,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. The money's definitely there for Erasmus and obviously for your student loans too. So yeah, regardless of Brexit, that makes no difference.
No, and I'm guessing in terms of like Corona, it's just a case of as and when.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, yeah, they're doing a blended learning. I think most universities are, to be honest, like around the world, not just the UK, are doing this blended learning approach, the same as we are, of online and face to face. Nobody's kind of said much yet about next academic year. I think it's going to be a lot of kind of playing it by ear. I think how it goes, but they are accepting international students, so and we're certainly hoping that by September next year we'll be able to send people abroad and it will be significantly better. I don't know whether it's realistic to think it will be back to normal completely, but hopefully at the very least, a manageable experience. That's maybe a manageable thing to do and a good experience. Yeah.
Awesome. No worries. Cheers.
Thank you. Okay, so if nobody else has got any other questions, then
sorry, I have a question.
Oh, sorry, Leo. Go ahead.
It's about the teaching part of it. Will we just be blended in with all their second year students, or will all international students be put together?
No, you'll be mixed in with everybody else. So that's typically what everywhere does, really. Unless you're on a specific course, some of them come as like a course package. But in general, for non-language students, you are just mixed in with people. So you might be, there might well be lots of other international students on your course too, but there could well be home students as well.
But they speak English, or?
Yes, yeah, it would all be in English, yeah.
That's fine, then.
Yeah, so we don't send anyone, unless it is for language purposes, obviously, we don't send anyone to non-English language speaking courses. So, whether you want to learn a little bit of Dutch to get by in the wider city, but I would imagine probably Rotterdam. I've only ever been through Rotterdam, I've never been myself, but I know like Amsterdam, they all speak English. I'm sure it's probably the same there too.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you would manage kind of day to day. If you wanted to learn more, than great. And there's actually things on with the Erasmus funding. You get access to their website, and there's I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a language learning module that you can do if you want to. So, and that's free. So if you wanted to learn Dutch, all these things like Duolingo, the app you can download, then you can. But you can get by without knowing any Dutch.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Are there any other questions at all? Okay. Well, thank you very much for coming along. I hope you found it useful. What I'll do is I'll send out some information to you. So, oh, sorry, Natasha, do you want to ask something?
I was just wondering, when do we have to decide if we're going by?
Okay. The application's open on the 1st of December, and it opens until I think it's the 10th of January, off the top of my head. So you've got sort of just over a month to complete the application, and we're actually going to be doing an application sort of guidance video and then offer like a drop-in session. But one of the next steps that we'll put in place is that people need to have a tutorial with us. So it's just like a one-to-one, just a quick session, just to go through any questions you may have, give you a little bit more information about like the funding that's available to you, that kind of thing. So we will set those up, and I'll send those after this session through to everybody, just so you've got that link of how to do that. But I think it's sort of worth, with the current environment, just pointing out that if you want to apply but you are concerned about like things with coronavirus, or even if you just change your mind, like you can withdraw if you want to at any point. There's no sort of penalty for that. It's just, I would say it's worth applying and then withdrawing if things don't quite go to plan, rather than missing the deadline, because the deadlines are quite strict. So if you don't apply by the 10th of January, then that's it really. We can't open it back up to people.
Right, okay. Thank you.
Okay. So yes, I'll circulate some information to you about what the next steps are, and also just a little bit more information as well, just in general, and also just a quick survey on this session, because it's the first ones we've had to do online. Normally it's an in-person fair, so it's obviously quite different this year, but hopefully you've still got something out of it. And if you've got any questions at all, please just feel free to send them through to us. You can email studyabroad@yorksj.ac.uk, or just have a look on the website, and there's lots of information on there too. So I'll stop the recording.